Hello, friends. It is Nomad Brad coming to you from my box truck. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the late edition of Nomad Brad Live. Had some stuff come up today, had to be a little bit late. Apologize to everybody who's used to the 6 p.m. Pacific times. Sometimes stuff happens, and we got to adjust. Hello, Slugworth. I see Slugworth is in the Yuma foothills. I'm not in the foothills tonight, but I am still in Yuma. Happy to see everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We got 29 people here hanging out with Nomad Brad. Happy to have you guys. Christian is here from Belize. Hello, welcome from Belize. Let me know um, how the video is, how the audio is. Internet's a little bit questionable tonight. We got Mark in the chat. Hello. Desert Runner Rick is here. Hello. John C is here. John C wants to know about my summer travel plans. We got Crimson Cheesecake in the house. Revo Runner. Let's go. Let's go. Happy to see you guys. Um, Big T from Michigan. Matt from Virginia. Sandy is here. Sandy says everything is great. Happy to hear that. I always get some anxiety when I run a speed check and the numbers are low. I'm always like, I hope it's not choppy for the people. We got Nomad King Gamer in the chat. Happy to see you here, King Gamer. Arizona Online says sound and visuals are great. So I have some news for everybody. Ohio Woodburner is here from Ohio, of course. Amsterdam, Night Souls from Amsterdam. What time is it in Amsterdam? It's got to be. Is it tomorrow in Amsterdam? I don't know how that works. Uh, TDL Chef says, thank you for the advice. Almost done with my build. Setting sail in October. Happy to hear it, Chef. Welcome. Samuel is here. He loves watching the channel. We got Lisa from Minnesota. Lisa from Minnesota. Hello, Lisa. Happy to see you. Uh, Tech Tekarak. Good evening. We got AJ in the chat from Havasu. Hello, AJ. Happy to see you. We got Night Souls here. Sandy from New Jersey. Christian is here as AJ's girl. They live together in Big Homie, their box truck. She says, don't forget to like and share. Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate that. I'm on the iPhone tonight, so you'll see my finger every once in a while scrolling the chat. We got Super Dave here. John C says, news. Are we going to be aunts and uncles? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What's the plan tonight? Kraken Engineer wants to know what the plan is. We got George in the chat. George from Sholo. Hello, George. Happy to see you here. Diana Saylor in the chat. So many people, up to 90 folks. I appreciate it. Pitter Patter with a super chat. What are you cooking tonight? Hello from the PNW. I miss the PNW. I haven't been there in a couple of years. I grew up in Oregon. I'm looking forward to getting back at some point. I don't know when. I'll be back there at some point. Dear X made it. First time catching a live stream. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you. So I'll give you guys some news right out the bat. We got two exciting things happening. Number one, Nomad Brad officially ordered Starlink. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the internet. I want to have reliable internet wherever I go. And, in case I end up traveling off grid this summer, I want to be able to stay connected. So I've ordered Starlink, and hopefully within a week or two, I'll be able to get it installed. And I'll be cruising with Elon Musk's satellite internet. I feel like I'm in space in the future. Yeah, dark side. Yeah, I've gone to the dark side. You know what's funny is, well, actually, I won't talk about that. It's political. I won't talk about that. Okay, cool. So Starlink's coming. How many miles? I have honestly by now I'm up to almost 140,000. I bought the truck with 120,000 in Texas, and I'm at right about 138, 139 somewhere in there. Um, okay, so yeah, the first part. Hopefully, people aren't vandalizing Starlinks. Well, they're gonna have to crawl on top of my van, which is not an easy feat. And I plan to mount it in the corner of my deck in the center of my van. So there's really no way you'll be able to visually see the Starlink walking by the van. I ordered a flat mount, so it'll mount flat to the roof deck. So it should be super safe. Questions about how it operates? I have no idea. I've never owned one. We're gonna find out together. I'll bring you guys along for the journey. I promise. Okay, the second piece of news could be a big one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So right now, I am parked on the street in Arizona. I am in a um, commercial area. You can see there's a lot of auto shops near me, a lot of mechanic shops and auto body and stuff. By the way, let's just take a moment and look how clean the rig is. I spent the last couple days absolutely scrubbing it top to bottom, just getting everything in order. It feels so good to have a clean van. I absolutely love it. So the other piece of news, as you guys know, that are dedicated Nomad Brad followers, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all my loyal followers. Um, I've been trying to sell this van for like I don't even know now, like 4 months, and so um, there's a couple that's reached out that's interested in it, and I am taking it into the mechanic tomorrow to be inspected. And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm parked outside of the mechanic in Arizona. And so he's going to do a pre-purchase inspection for them, which I always recommend everybody get a pre-purchase inspection before you purchase a vehicle. And so I'm going to take it in tomorrow at 9 a.m. for a pre-purchase inspection. And their main concern is just the transmission. I think after all this stuff that I had happen with my transmission brake, they just want to make sure the transmission is okay, which, I mean, this thing's a solid runner. I think it'll be fine. But long story short, if they're happy with what the mechanic says, it sounds like they're going to fly out and drive it home. I've been talking to them for weeks, back and forth with emails and stuff. So it's been a long time coming, and it sounds like they're pretty motivated. So fingers crossed, nothing certain, but there's a possibility that within the next week or two, I might have sold this and I might be moving on to another build, which would be very exciting. I really want to do a new build. I have so many ideas and plans and things that I want to implement. And make no mistake, I love this van. It's so comfortable. But it's complete is the problem. I'm a project guy. I like to have something to work on. I like to be able to build and have a vision and implement it and play around. And when the build's complete, you can't really do that anymore. I've done everything I can to this van. So uh, on one hand, if it doesn't sell, I'm happy to travel all summer and, just make cool videos. But the reality is, I would rather start a new build and make a bunch of build videos and implement a bunch of exciting ideas. So right now we sit at a fork in the road. There is a fork in this road. One big fork. We'll see what happens. But I'm excited, feeling optimistic. And so if this goes down, if they buy this van, here's the challenge for old Nomad Brad. I'm here at my dad's place in Yuma. I want to do the initial build here. I want to get electrical and air conditioning and insulation done, and then I'll build the rest of it on the road. I'm fine with that, and a side entry door. But I basically have probably 3 weeks of work before I can leave Yuma, and temperature is getting hot. And so my concern is I only have probably 3 or 4 weeks until Yuma is steadily in the 100 degrees. So and that's like I have to sell this van, buy a new box truck, which who knows where that's going to be located, and then bring it back to my dad's to do kind of that first stage of the build. So if it happens, it's going to be a scramble to make it all go down. My next vehicle of choice is an Isuzu NPR. I've been looking around a lot. I've pretty much set on it. Thanks everybody. I appreciate the all the good vibes, the good wishes. Keep me in your prayers tonight. Hopefully, we can sell this van and move on to a new project. I'm looking forward to it. And I got a bunch of cool ideas I think you guys are going to appreciate. I got some really crazy ideas actually. And so, for anybody that's doing a build out or thinking about a build out or in the beginning stages, you could learn a lot from a Nomad Brad build series. And this will be the first build series where I I'm really engaged with the audience. Like in my previous builds, I didn't do a lot of videos. I just kind of threw up some build videos, but I wasn't doing live streams. I wasn't as engaged. So This time you'll be able to ask questions and really see the process as it goes start to finish. Kraken Engineer asks if it's a 16-foot box. I haven't bought it yet, but it'll be either a 16 or an 18-foot Isuzu. I 100% sold. It has to be a 8-foot high, 8-foot ceiling, and it has to be 8 feet wide. So regardless, this is like no compromise. It has to be 8 feet tall and 8 feet wide. And then the length will be either 16 or 18 feet, just depending upon what's available. Um, I think a 16 would be a little more maneuverable, but the extra 2 feet I would get on an 18 would really. I'm playing with the floor plans, and that would really let me do just a little bit extra that would be kind of fun. So I'm open to either. An 18 would be cool. It would be fun. Uh, it's going to be used. I don't have the new ones are like 100 grand. I don't got a budget for that. So I'll be looking at a used Isuzu, the diesel 5.2 liter. I want to get as new of a rig as I can. I found one actually, believe it or not, I found my current rig, the living space of my current rig is 12 feet. The bumper to bumper length is 21 feet. But the cool thing about the NPR is the cab is so short because it sits on top of the engine that if I can get a 16-foot living space and my bumper to bumper is only 23 feet. So I only gain 2 feet of bumper to bumper and I get 4 extra feet of living space. So that'll give me space for a shower. Either way, I'll do a shower, but I have a crazy idea for the shower where I'm not even going to spoil it yet, but it's going to be nice. Um, so we got a couple super chats. Otaku Van Life says, good luck. Hope everything pans out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Uh, Adventures with Super Dave comes through with a super chat. Thank you, Super Dave. I appreciate you so much. It helps a lot. Um, yeah, so John C is commenting about Techno Barbarian's mini split. So Techno Barbarian does U-Haul builds. He mounted the mini split right in front, up top on the grandma's attic, and he's a nice guy. I wish him all the luck, but I don't think it's going to work out because the problem is when you're driving down the freeway at 70 miles an hour, the wind when you're driving, it pushes the fan blade. And I know this firsthand because my friend Mark did that on his box truck. And from the fan got going so fast that it broke. It actually like broke the fan off of um, the hub. So I don't think that's going to work for Techno Barbarian unless he puts some kind of a cover over it to deflect the wind. I think it's going to shatter that fan blade. But I hope it doesn't. I wish him the best. I'd be curious to see what happens, but that's my understanding. So when I do the Isuzu, it's tall enough off the ground. I can mount the air conditioner up underneath. So that's what I'll be doing is mounting it underneath, suck it up to the frame, and then it'll be no problem. So anyway, that's where I'm at. That's a lot going on right now. And so here's the other thing is I'm like at kind of this again fork in the road where because it's getting hot in Yuma, I have to either leave in this rig or leave in a new rig. So I have a couple projects I've had to put on hold, like the Starlink. I ordered a mount for it and a couple other things, but I can't do any more improvements on this van until I know for sure these people are not going to buy it. So um, either way, I'm going to have to scramble, right? If I sell this, I got to scramble to get a new rig. If I keep this rig, I got to scramble to install the Starlink because I mounted it onto the roof and then I got to run the wire like down. It's not going to be crazy, but it's a little bit of work. I got to run the wire down, bring it inside, and then I got a wall mount kit so I can mount the router and everything on the wall, keep it out of my way. So um, that's where we're at. Either way, it's going to be a little bit of a hustle, and at this point, summer is a complete unknown to me. Who knows where I'm going to be or what's going to happen? So it's kind of exciting. Nomad life in general, there's a lot of uncertainty where your plans are conditional upon weather or future plans you've made coming through or that type of thing. So there's a lot um, going on that there's a lot of uncertainty. You got to be comfortable with that. FEMA Region 9 in the chat says, hey, Brad, I'm from Chicago, and the only discrepancy I see on your current setup is raising your mini split high enough off the ground to keep people from having ready access to it when you're parked. So here's the thing. I've had a lot of people that comment on my videos, and they talk about where the mini split's located. I've had that mini split on the back of my van for a year and a half. Nobody's fussed with it. I mean, the thing you guys don't realize is for someone to steal the mini split, they would have to unbolt it from the brackets, and then they'd have to get two big fat crescent wrenches to take off the refrigerant lines. And then when they loosen the refrigerant lines, it's going to release all that refrigerant instantly. It's super loud, it's high pressure gas, it's going to make a huge vapor cloud. And then here's the thing, they can't get the indoor unit. So all they're going to get if they steal it is the outdoor portion of the mini split. Like, what are they going to do with that? I mean, what's the scrap value of that copper? I don't think it's enough. It makes enough effort for people to steal it. It doesn't make sense. Most people that are stealing stuff, they're looking for the quick, easy dollar. It's like, what are you going to do with half of a mini split that you stole off someone's rig? She's okay, hold on. They said FEMA says, I'm not talking about them stealing it, just tampering with it or damaging it. Well, I mean, I don't live in inner city Chicago. I guess if I lived in inner city Chicago, it might be a concern. But I'm telling you, I've lived in this van a year and a half. Nobody's ever fussed with it. So um, the ceiling height in here is 7 feet. So if you're a tall person, you want to get a box truck. This is a 7 foot box. The next one I'm getting is 8 feet tall. And when I've been doing my search, I have um, found short boxes that are tall. So if you want a shorter box, like you want a 12-foot box or a 14-foot box, you can still find those with 8 foot ceilings. They're not super common, but they're out there. So yeah, for the tall boys, I would definitely do that. Yeah, Sir on Dave has the same rig as me height wise. The reason he mounted his air conditioner underneath is because he doesn't have a full he doesn't have a full mini split. He has like the smaller ones, which you can get, but they're not as good. They're not as efficient. They don't cool down as well. He has trouble keeping his rig cool. Like he said, he was in Vegas, and as soon as it got 100 degrees, he had to get a hotel or an Airbnb because of his dog, because he couldn't keep it comfortable inside. I lived in this in Texas where it was 103 with humidity, and it was super comfortable. So there's those smaller mini splits that you find on Amazon for 500 bucks. Like they're not as good. They only do like 9,000 BTUs. This one's 12,000. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the NPR sits up higher than this truck, so it'll definitely have room underneath. In fact, um, AJ has his mounted underneath his NPR. It's not an issue. So that's the plan. That's the plan, man. So we'll see what happens. So what am I doing tonight? I'm hanging out with you guys. I'm gonna make some food. I don't know what yet. I have some ground turkey in the fridge, so I'm gonna cook that up. Simple box. I got my 12K installed in Houston. It's awesome. Cools very quick. Pulls around 300 watts once at temperature. Hey, Simple Box, happy to have you here. Simple Box DIY'd his conversion, did his own electrical. Uh, Turned out really good from what I can tell. Happy to hear you're comfortable, Simple Box. Mark says, I think you should put your solar panels on a hinge, lift up each panel. Yeah, I've definitely played around with the idea of putting my solar panels on some kind of a lift so that I could raise it and like in the winter to get good uh, solar power. But here's the thing: NPR no pass through. No, there's not going to be a pass through on the NPR. Here's the thing: on the new box truck, my plan is to do four 650-watt solar panels. So I will have 12, 24. I'll have like 2,600 watts of solar, which is monster. And here's the good thing. In the wintertime, like the only reason I need so much power is to run my air conditioner. And so in the wintertime, you don't need air conditioning. So if I have 2,500 watts of solar, even with winter sun hours where the sun is lower in the sky, I'm still going to be bringing in probably 1,500 watts of solar. Um, So it's really not gonna be it's I'm gonna have plenty of power. So, um, I would consider doing some kind of a tilt system, but I really don't think it's gonna be necessary. Okay, so I see someone's asked twice about my utensils, how I keep them from rolling around. So I'll show you guys what I do here. Okay, so this is my sink station. My cut under my cutting board, I have this little like straining rack, and so in here I keep my fork, my spoon, and my knife. And those are the only utensils I use. I have a spatula, but I keep that with um, my skillet, which lives in a cupboard down there. So those are the only utensils I have. I do have like a can opener and some other random stuff that I keep up here. Um, like over here, there's a can opener. So I kind of just have some stuff scattered up here. Here's my cups and things. So, but I don't have a lot of utensils. I have some extra stuff like down in here. Like I think I have I don't know exactly what, but I do have some things like extra things down there if I need them. Ritchie Brothers Auctions. Yeah, I'm familiar with them. I'm gonna drop the curtains now because it's getting late and I got the lights on. I've looked at Ritchie Brother Auctions. They actually have an auction coming up in Phoenix, but it's not until the end of April. So ideally, I would have a new rig before then, but it's an option. Kraken Engineer. Kraken says, "What are these panels?" That's great power from. Yeah, Sir on Dave bought three 650-watt panels in San Diego, and he got them cheap. He got them off Facebook Marketplace, and I don't know what he paid. I don't remember, but I know he paid less than $200 a piece for them, which is a steal. And so, I'm when I get my rig, I'll have to go. I'm not sure how far, but maybe to Phoenix or maybe over to San Diego, and I'll be able to get the panels I need. So there's a lot of options out there. You just got to look for the deals. Let me put my cutting board down before it falls. Simple Box says, "Thanks as always for the awesome advice. I appreciate you, Simple Box. Box Truck Gang, you got it. Having a box truck means you don't have to hear the rattles." Yeah, that's what I really like about the box truck. Because before my box trucks, I had a shuttle bus where the cab and the living space is all open. And then before that, I had a cargo van. And so when you're driving down the road, you hear everything squeaking and banging around, and it's super loud and noisy. And like in my shuttle bus had a loud diesel engine. And so I had to wear headphones to drive, like to listen to music because it was so loud. And with this, because the cab is isolated, it's super quiet. I can listen to music, podcasts, I can take phone calls, and I really forget that I even have all this behind me. So it's very nice to have a box truck. It's my favorite platform. I'll never live in anything different. Um, I watch all these people online building out school buses, and I don't understand it. It's so much effort, and then they're doing like roof raises, and then they're having to like remove the windows and put in metal. It's crazy. It's like way too much work. I don't It's like I think people buy schoolies because they're cheap. You can get a schoolie for like 5 grand, but then you have to put in so much time and money to like all the modifications, especially a roof raise. That's like over 10 grand. By the end of the day, you're better off just buying a box truck. I don't understand why people buy schoolies. Okay, so I'm gonna get some food going while we're chatting here. I'm gonna get out the turkey. I should try to put a game plan together here. Nomad Brad. Yeah, I have blackout curtains. I'm gonna leave this one open because it just faces. Well, maybe I should close it. Am I worried about the NPR being too big? Not at all. No. I mean, here's the thing: Isuzu NPRs, those are like delivery vehicles. Those things are designed to be in the streets, in the city, driving around, making deliveries, backing up, into driveways. They're super agile. And it's still a short wheelbase. And because of how the front turning wheel is right under the cab, it has a really tight turning radius. So actually, I can get a bigger Isuzu NPR, and it's probably going to corner and handle better than this box truck I'm in right now. So I'm not worried about it. I've done a lot of thinking and a lot of like, pros and cons and just weighing my options. And I really believe, of course, everything is going to have pros and cons, but I really believe the NPR is going to overall be the best choice for me. I really do. And I'm hoping that I can keep this one for a while because I've been switching rigs every couple of years and I'm kind of tired of it. I want to just have something that meets my needs, although I do enjoy a project. Um, oh yeah, so I was going to tell you guys, I found an Isuzu NPR for sale that I might purchase if this sale goes through. It's in San Diego. It's a 2018 16-foot box with the lift gate, and it only has 78,000 miles, which is very low miles. Most of the ones I'm looking at are around 120,000 miles, like in my price range. And this one has 78,000. So I'm definitely uh interested in it. It's kind of expensive. He's asking 27,000 because of the mileage. It's such low miles and it's super clean. Like it looks really, really clean. Um, but I'm hoping I could maybe get him to 25. If I could get it for 25, I would buy it. So anyway, we'll see. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. If I can sell this one, I'll pick up that NPR for 20, hopefully 25K, and that should last a long time before I have to do any major repairs. Yeah, it's a single owner. It was like a party rental company in California. So it's like, they just did little trips from the warehouse out to event locations since 2018. So it's like you could tell it doesn't have a lot of miles on it, and they kept up on maintenance and stuff. So okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some food going. I got some ground turkey, and then 2005 T1N does not have DEF. Wait, were you asking about DEF or diff fluid? What was that question? Anyone know if my 20 has to add DEF? No, it shouldn't have DEF. DEF didn't start until like 2010. I'm 99.7% positive there's no DEF on a T1N. Yeah. I mean, Google it, right? Just Google that shit. I'm sure they'll tell you, but yeah, there should not be. Well, you would know. You would know. You said it's yours. If you had DEF, it would have a DEF gauge. And then once the tank was empty, your van would go into limp mode. So you would know if you had it. If you had it and weren't filling it, you would know. Okay, what else are we gonna do? So we're gonna do the signature. We're gonna do some veggies. Got a cucumber. We're gonna do some of these sweet peppers. Yeah, if you run out of depth, your van will let you know. Absolutely, yeah. Um, and it's not something you change. You add it. It's a consumable like gasoline. From what I've read online, a tank of DEF, I think it usually lasts you two full fuel tanks. Two full tanks of diesel is usually one tank of DEF. So you would totally know. Okay, here we go. I got to get my cutting board, get out my new chopping knife. I'm excited to use it. I'm excited to use my new knife. It's been working out really well. It's a good choice. Let's see. I don't know if we can get the cooking in the photo and me. You might have to just look at my neck for a while. All right. And we're gonna do some onion. I'm gonna try not to cry. What's the tip? Oh, people always say if you put a bowl of water next to the onion when you cut it, it won't make you cry. But I feel like I've tried that before. It didn't really work, but I'm gonna try it. One tank lasts 5,000 to 7,500 miles. Are you serious? I don't know about that, dude. That seems like a lot. I don't 5,000 miles? I don't know about that, bro. You can't idle the engine. Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll figure it out. I mean, my thought was um the only way I can avoid death is I get an older rig, but it's like I don't really want to drive around in a rig that's 20 years old because there's a whole bunch of inherent issues with that, right? Because at that point, all the components in the vehicle, even though it might be a diesel and maybe it's going to last a long time, all the other components are old. You know what I mean? Like all the little electronics, the computers, the sensors, the hoses, the harnesses, um, all that stuff is going to be 20 years old. So I don't really want to deal with that. I like the idea of a 2018, everything's relatively new. Okay, here's the test. I'm putting this water bowl literally right next to the onion, and I'm gonna try to like stand back from the onion, and I'm gonna see if I chop this, if I can avoid crying, because that's always the predicament. People have told me all kinds of tricks, and so far, I haven't found anything to work. But maybe this bowl of water will attract the fumes, and I don't have to cry tonight. Don't make me cry, guys. Delete it. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could delete the def, but here's the problem. I know a guy that has a truck that they deleted the def on it, and I guess technically mechanic shops are not supposed to work on vehicles that have had the def disabled. So it's one thing, put the onion in the freezer. It's one thing if you're, living in a town and you know a mechanic and you guys are buddies and he's like happy to help you out. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Zach. Zach's exactly what I'm talking about. It's one thing if you live in a town and you know a mechanic that's going to work on it, but when you travel like I do and you're all over the country, you're in small towns and you don't know the mechanic when you have need work done, then um, then you're at the mercy of local shops. And Zach had a bunch of shops, especially in California, turn him down because that system was disabled. And I don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? I don't really care, guys. I mean, they've been doing DEF since 2012. Yeah, I'm sure it's not ideal, but it's going to be fine, right? It's not going to be a big deal. So I'm just going to roll with it. I ain't worried about it. There's a lot more important things to worry about. Okay, well, I'm happy to report. So far, so good. I am not crying. I'm feeling decent. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I'm feeling good. Oh, I just made a rhyme. And so let's see how long we can hold out. And I'm not running the exhaust fan either. Usually that's my other thing I try to do is run the fan to suck out all the onion fumes. But it seems like it's okay. Man, this knife is so sharp. I gotta really focus I don't cut my finger off here. Where's the meat? French onion soup. What was that question? Do you have the knife on your favorite Amazon list? I don't. Um, so this knife, it's from Amazon. It's CJ CJRB. It was like 40 bucks. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I'm really happy with it. And what's cool is it's like a 4-inch blade. And usually when you're shopping for cleavers, like regular kitchen cleavers, they're all like 8 inches plus in length. They're just way too big. Like I don't need some huge chef cleaver. I'm not like hacking up, you know, huge amounts of vegetables. So for me, a 4-inch blade is perfect. And it's a folder, right? So I don't have a sheath for it. I just fold it in half, put it away, and it's ready to go. Too expensive for a knife? Well, it all depends on priorities, man. I was pretty happy to pay 40 bucks for it. I mean, if we're talking about pocket knives, 40 bucks is not expensive for a pocket knife. That's the thing. If you're looking at like kitchen knives, yeah, 40 bucks might be a lot. You can get a kitchen knife for 20 bucks. But if you're talking about pocket knives, it's hard to find a good quality pocket knife for 40 bucks. And that's technically what this is. Where's the bead? I don't know what a bead is. So for meat tonight, we're gonna do this ground turkey breast from Sprouts. Do they make? Yeah, they make gasoline box trucks. The box truck I'm in right now is gasoline. All the U-Hauls are gasoline. There's a lot of gasoline box trucks. They even make, yes, we are live. They even make gasoline Isuzu NPRs. I've seen several of them, but I want diesel because I'm going to be pushing a lot of weight. And the gasoline NPR is only a 6-liter engine, and the van I'm in now is 6.8 liters. So I really don't want to have like double the living space with double the stuff inside and have a smaller engine. Like to me, that doesn't make sense. I feel like, I mean, the 6.8 that's in this box truck is strong and it performs very well. I have no complaints about it. But in a vehicle twice the size, I think a 6-liter would be underpowered. We'll see. Who knows? How much does it cost to fill it up? Well, it depends where you're at, right? So here's the thing. I have a 30-gallon gas tank. So you just got to do the math. How much is gas in your area? Here in Arizona, I can get gas for $3 a gallon. So what is that? 90 bucks to fill it? A tank usually gets me 300 miles. Someone asked about my fuel costs. It's all variable. It depends how much you travel. Like right now, I'm just kind of cruising around Yuma. I don't use hardly much gas at all. Do I like a bread? Do I like bread? I do like bread, but I try not to eat too much of it. I don't. My body doesn't process gluten very well. Um. Uh. Oh yeah, like last summer when I was in San Diego, even though gas is expensive, gas in San Diego was like $5 a gallon, $5 plus. But I was only filling my tank like once every 2 weeks. I mean, I hard you know anything you need in San Diego is within a 10-mile radius. So that's the thing. People freak out about fuel economy on these rigs, but the reality is for most people, you're not going to get in one of these vehicles and just be driving thousands of miles. You're not going to be just driving across the country all the time. I mean, I guess some people do, but most people I know that are doing van life, you know, you might do like a big trip, like maybe you make a big pilgrimage in the winter, maybe you drive 1,000 miles, or maybe for the summer you drive 1,000 miles. But for the most part, you're just, you know, you're not doing that much driving. You're not going that far, so it's really not a big deal for the most part. And a lot of people make the mistake when they haven't done van life. They think they're going to get into van life and go see all 50 states and visit all the, you know, state parks and all this stuff. But guys, what you don't realize is the whole point of being in a box truck is just to kind of slow down and enjoy yourself and not be stressed out. And it's pretty stressful to be just constantly on the move, trying to visit all these things, see all these sites. Like that's not what van life is about. And so, um, you know, you'll find out when you get into a rig that you actually don't want to be driving around a lot, like super long road trips. It just wears you out. So that's one thing to consider. Um, you know, moving into this lifestyle. Ooh, my olive oil's empty, but I have a backup. So we got the veggies cut. We're adding some olive oil. I have a secondary olive oil. I got a backup olive oil. Here we go. Someone asked about fuel economy. I average about 9.5 miles per gallon, which on paper sounds scary. But yeah, keep in mind you're not commuting. You know, you're not driving 40 miles a day commuting to work or more, you know. A lot of times I'll park this thing and I won't even move it for 3 or 4 days at all. So, It all averages out. Let's see. Actually, this one's almost empty too. I'm like, I got to refill my olive oil. I'm getting dangerously low. Dangerous. So here's one trick. I buy these big olive oil bottles to refill, and then I keep this little one because it fits nice in my overhead cabinet. So then I just transfer the oil from the big one to the little one. It's a little van life hack for you guys. And same with my apple cider vinegar. I have like a huge jug of it, and then I usually just keep the smaller one uh, up in the cabinet. But yeah, your boy's out of olive oil. It's time to re-up. I didn't realize I was low. Those are nice bottles, by the way. I hate to just throw it out. Tiger's Paw, do you date on the road? I do not date on the road. Um, I have in the past. Let's see. Let Nomad Brad think about his relationships. Um, so when I started van life in 2018, I had a girlfriend. She traveled with me for 6 months. Then we broke up, and then I like dated some girls along the way that were nomads, but they always had their own vehicles. And then in 2022, when it was like COVID, I had a COVID girlfriend, and so I was in Austin, Texas at the time, and she had her own place. So we would like go on road trips and stuff, but she wasn't living with me. She wasn't living with me. So I don't date. I haven't dated in a long time. Here's the thing. I was watching this YouTube video the other night from this guy, and he was talking about being single and older because Nomad Brad's older now. I'll be 40 in August. And he was talking about sex. And he says, here's the thing. Some people get really worked up over sex and like, wanting to take care of that often. But I relate to what he said. And he said, it's just like going to Disneyland. Like it's really fun and exciting, and there's a lot to do and experience. But after you've ridden the ride thousands of times, it's just not that exciting anymore. And that's kind of how I feel, is I just don't really care. I don't really care about it. Like it's cool to have a partner and like have a connection with somebody, but I'm just not driven by sex. I know some people are. Some guys have like super high testosterone and they're always out trying to get it. And I was like that when I was younger, but I don't care anymore. I guess because I'm getting old. So I'll get a girlfriend again at some point. In the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking like after I get this next box truck built out, I'm gonna get a dog first. Another dog. I had a dog that I traveled with for 4 years. She was a great companion. So I'll get another dog again after I finish this Isuzu build out. And then I might, be open to a girlfriend, but she's got to have her own rig. I think the challenge with relationships is when you're living in close proximity. Like when you're living in close proximity, 24/7, it just gets stale. Like no, really, nobody's meant to be with somebody constantly, day in and day out, 24/7. And that's what it's like when you're, as a nomad with a partner that lives in your rig with you. Now, I will say some people make it work. There's exceptions to the case. I have nomad friend couples that have been together for years in the same rig and they make it work. But I think that's the exception. That's not everybody and it's not most people. So when I get a girlfriend, she'll have to have her own rig. Now, I'm not opposed to traveling together and doing trips, and she can stay with me, here and there. But I gotta have my own space. I gotta have my own space. And the other thing too is that I don't want to speak poorly of women, but The girls I've dated always have a lot of stuff. And in case you haven't noticed, Nomad Brad likes to keep a clean house. I don't want to see stuff on the counters. I don't want bags of clothes hanging all over the place. And pretty much every girl, van life girl that I've been with, just has stuff everywhere and like clothing piles, and it's just chaos. I can't live like that. So that's another no go for Nomad Brad. She got to have her own place. I need a kid. No, I do not need a kid. Absolutely do not need a kid. All right. So, hey, good news. Um, I'm not crying. So the onion trick worked. Eyes are not watering, and it worked. So that's the key: is the water next to the onion, right? Onion piece right here, bowl of water, did the trick. So I appreciate everybody that sent in their tips and helped me out. I saw my mom. I think my mom's watching. She sent me a text message, and above the door cabinet. Yeah, up here. Yeah, this is open. I have my paper towels up here. That's why it's open. I took my paper towels out. That's where they live. The paper towels and the tea live up there. One thing I love about this van is how much space there is. Anyway, yeah, my mom text messaged me and said about the onion thing. So I think she's watching. Hi, mom. Hi, mom. We're live on YouTube. I'm famous. I'm famous, mom. All right. Everybody's saying hi, mom. I appreciate you guys saying hi to my mom. You know what's funny is some people ask about like family and how does family feel about being a nomad? And my dad was cool with it from day one because my dad he's been traveling as a nomad in an RV for like a decade. So he was pretty cool with it. He understands the drive and the draw and he gets it. And so my mom is not a nomad. She's a typical mom that lives in a sticks and bricks. And so it took her a couple years to really come around. At first she thought it would be a phase, which is understandable. Nomad Brad has done a lot of crazy things in his life, and I haven't really stuck with many things. But what's funny is being a nomad for 7 years is actually the longest that I've committed to anything. So it's stuck, and I love it. And so after a couple years, and she saw that I was having a good time, and I always send her cool pictures of like wilderness and places I'm at, and so she came around and she's cool with it. And I think the main thing any parent wants is for their kid to be happy and then also to be successful. And so my first uh, 6 years of van life was a struggle financially, trying all different kinds of things to make money. And so now this year, well, starting last summer, well, let's see, time was really blending together. I guess the last couple years, financially, I've been doing better. This year is going to be my best financially. So now that I'm like making money and, something has stuck and it's like things are going well, then she's even more supportive. So I appreciate that. And my dad too. My dad told me this year he's happy things are working out and I'm making money, and I finally kind of figured it out because it was a lot of trying stuff out. It was a lot of struggle, and so um, it was a lot of struggle, and I really pushed through it. And there was a lot of times that I doubted myself, and thought toyed with the idea of quitting and getting an apartment or going getting a regular job. But every time I thought about that, I just got sick to my stomach to think about going back to some job where you're just working to pay the bills and you got to rent some shitty apartment for $1,000 a month. And it sounds terrible, you know. I guess it would be different if housing was more affordable in America. I mean, in all honesty, if I could go buy a house for 100 grand and just live frugally 7 years ago, I would have done that. But obviously, you guys know that ain't the case, and so Yeah, so that's where we're at. But now that I'm on the road, I love it. I like to travel. I like moving around and changing locations. Do you install on houses? No, I do not. I don't have licensing to install on houses. Find me a shitty apartment in San Diego doesn't exist. Yeah. Yeah, even did bro say $1,000? Well, I was talking about like 7 years ago. Or even like 4 years ago, you could have when I was thinking about giving up, you could have got an apartment for $1,000 for sure. Prices really went crazy. From COVID on, basically from COVID on, all the prices just went straight up. But before that, you could have got a decent apartment, not in San Diego, but you could have got a decent apartment for $1,000. 100 grand will barely get you a car. That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Okay, so what are we gonna do? I think we're gonna grill the peppers first. Tiara says I have one of the coolest builds she's seen. Thank you, I appreciate it. This is my fourth build that I've lived in. I also did two builds for friends, so I've converted 6 vehicles. And that's the only reason this looks so cool is because I have a lot of experience. And when I had a house, I remodeled my house. So I have a lot of experience building and constructing. And I like modern things. So I wanted to bring modern living into a van because for the most part, when you look at most vehicle conversions, at least when I was looking at them, everything's like real naturey. It's all like wood everywhere and real like cabin like. Although I got to say, in the last few years, a lot of the Sprinter builds and stuff are becoming more modern. Um, but I've always been a modern type of person, so I wanted to bring that into my van living. Even if you go back and look at my very first van build, my Econoline, it was pretty modern. I had like IKEA stuff in there. It's pretty cool. Okay, someone asked if I eat chicken. Not a lot of chicken, but I got some turkey we're gonna grill up tonight. Okay, let's think about this. So we got the veggies, they're soaking. We got the onions and the cucumber. So we'll set that aside. We're gonna have the turkey. I guess I'll make some quinoa. I I make the same food basically all the time, and some people ask about if I get tired of it or when it comes to food. I'm a simple person. I don't get tired of stuff that easy. Like I'll just eat the same thing all the time. I don't care. And so I try to eat healthy. And then basically with keeping in mind that I'm eating healthy, I just try to also eat simple and easy. So right now, and what I'll also do sometimes is I'll eat the same thing or like kind of similar ingredients for like a couple weeks. And then I'll like kind of want to explore it and then I'll try something different. So right now it's like quinoa. I've been eating quinoa for the last, I don't know, week. I got probably another week or two of quinoa, then I'll move on to something different. So quinoa is super easy in the instant pot. It's just a 1-to-1 ratio. So it'll be 1 cup water, 1 cup quinoa. So that's what we're gonna do right now. I bought the bulk quinoa at Sprouts. It's cheaper that way. Sprouts has a bunch of bulk stuff. I bought bulk almonds, all kinds of stuff. Guy Fieri of the box truck cooking. Yeah, so one thing I'll say is in the next box truck, um, I'm gonna do an oven, so I'll be able to bake stuff. I don't really know for sure what I want to bake, but I guess at least I have the option that I can like start exploring some new stuff. So right now I just basically have the induction cooktop, and then I have the instant pot to cook with. That's all I got. But in the next one I'll have an oven. So I don't know what I'll do with it, but I'll be doing oven things. Okay, let's see. How do we want to do this? I need to cut this down a little bit. There we go. Pour the quinoa. Also, if you notice, I don't know if you can tell from the video, but I'm parked at a tiny bit of an angle. Usually when you park on the streets slope towards the curb. so that like for water runoff, it funnels water into the drains. And so usually when you're parked in a city on a curb, you're at a slight angle to the passenger side of the vehicle. So I'm at a slight angle right now. It's not too bad, not too extreme. I found a lot worse in San Diego, but it is noticeable. It is noticeable. What is going on? This bag is funky. There's like a weird, the bottom of it is weird. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to pour out my quinoa, man. Hook it up. I have cream of chicken soup. In the past, I've used cream of mushroom. I might try this cream of chicken tonight. Spice it up a little bit. See what's going on. I feel like this is taking way longer than it. Oh no, there we spilled the quinoa. I feel like this is taking way longer than it should. This is a terrible idea. Pouring it out of this bag was a travesty. Okay. Okay, so how do we do? We finished off the bag. It didn't quite fill up. We're like, I don't know, three quarters. So I have a backup quinoa. I got backup quinoa. Don't worry, guys. We got a backup bag. Apple brown Betty. I'm also gonna get a juicer again. I'll probably get a juicer in the next box truck. Um, Again, I'm trying to eat healthy. I really try to focus on healthy eating, so I'm not gonna be making all the tasty, savory stuff. Like I mean, make no mistake, I would love to just eat pizza and hamburgers and like lasagna and all that kind of stuff, but I just I'm trying to be healthy, and so I can't eat that kind of stuff. A girlfriend who can cook, yeah, that would be awesome. You know what I would love is I would love uh to meet like an Asian lady because I love Asian food. You know what I mean? If I could find a little Asian lady that could cook some Asian meals, I would sign me up, dude. Sign me up. Yeah, this is a measuring cup. It's a 1 cup measuring cup. So we're doing 1 cup of quinoa to 1 cup of water. I should do a box truck cooking live show. Yeah, you could. You could. Yeah, anyone that's a really good cook. I mean, I I'm not a good cook. I just put stuff together and and so and I don't make a lot of crazy stuff. Like I feel like to do a cooking show, you got to have like if it was just a cooking show in a box truck, I feel like you'd have to be making a lot of cool exciting stuff. Like you'd have to have all kinds of sauces and things going on. And I feel like it doesn't really blend well with van life because you kind of have to be a minimalist. Like you're limited on water, you're limited on like how many utensils and stuff you can have. And like imagine trying to clean up a bunch of sauce cups and pans and whisks and shit. With limited water and like no hot water. It's not ideal. So that's the reason I thought about doing like some more van life cooking, but that's the reason I don't focus on it as a priority. Um, Number one, I'm not that good at it, but number two, I feel like it's not practical. I think your best option, whoa, that's hot. I think your best option would be like if you're in a van, but you're connected to like city water, but then it's kind of cheating, right? But yeah, I guess you could make a van life version. Yeah, it was super hot. It was only on level 4, but I think the problem is I put cold pepper. The peppers were cold. It's like bubbling. I gotta turn that down. I gotta let them slowly get up to temperature. And we might have to turn the fan on. I never use Instant Pot. Instant Pot's awesome. Oh, chicken tortilla soup. That sounds so good, Matt. I want to try that. I have a 30-gallon freshwater. You could fit a 50-gallon easily. Um, Easily fit a 50-gallon. And I mean, the thing is, if you're like in a town where you know where the water fill is at, it's not a big deal. Like here in Arizona, they have water fill stations all over the place. So it'd be really easy to do in Arizona. Um, but once you're out of Arizona, it's a little more challenging to find water on a regular basis, especially if you're out camping, right? Like if you're out of the city, good luck. I don't. Yeah, Ryan does do van life cooking. He does a good job, but he also cooks a lot of stuff I wouldn't eat. Nothing against him. It's just I don't eat like that. Because again, if I'm gonna do cooking, it's got to be stuff I'm gonna eat, and I eat very simple and clean. I don't think people really want to watch a simple, clean cooking show. They want Paula Deen. They want like deep fried Oreos and pizza and spaghetti and stuff. I don't eat that. Okay, so we got the peppers in. I'm gonna get the quinoa going. Are you gonna have a shower? Yeah, I'm gonna put a shower in the next build. Um, a 100-gallon water tank. I never seen 100 gallons. They might exist. They'd be so big though. Like a 50-gallon tank is huge. I'm just trying to think about like logistically where you would put it. Actually, you know what? I think Zach has two 100 pound, I'm sorry, 100-gallon water tanks, but he built them into the floor. They're massive. They're like 8 feet long, and I want to say they're like 4 feet wide, and then maybe like like a foot tall. They're huge. And he's got a 26-foot box truck, so he can fit it. But he literally had to raise the floor of his box truck to accommodate 200 gallons of water. So, keep in mind, it's all a trade off, right? It's all about what's important to you. Everyone's got their own important things. And I'm not interested in hauling around 200 gallons of water. Not interested. Okay, so we're going to dump the quinoa into the instant pot. There we go. The tricky thing with the quinoa is like once it gets wet, then it sticks to everything. It's hard to get it all out. Okay, so we got that. And then we're gonna put in 1 cup of water. It's super easy. You just put in 1 cup of each, and then you just put it on cook for 1 minute, and that's it. You're done. So here we are, 1 cup of water into the instant pot. Down it goes. Down it goes. Okay. Give you guys a little shot. Have you talked to Zach? Is he still in Oregon? He kind of dipped out. No, Zach's in Las Vegas. Um, Here's the instant pot with the quinoa with the water. So then all you do is put the lid on it, and we'll go pressure cook 1 minute. And then it takes about 5 minutes to reach temperature, and then it cooks for 1 minute, and then it takes 5 minutes to release the steam. So it's actually 11 minutes of total time that the quinoa is in the heat, but it's pretty fast otherwise. Yeah, so Zach's in Las Vegas. The initial build is complete. Mark from Wanderbox did the full build. And so that part is done. But Zach is having a bunch of stuff done at Inch Vans, which is the metal fabricators. And so like last week they put on a roof deck, and he's got a bunch of other custom stuff he's having done. So that's where he's been for the last ever since he left Mark, which has been maybe a month, maybe a little longer. He's been up in Vegas. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what's up with his YouTube. What I find interesting, and I like Zach. Zach's a super nice guy. Considering his age, he's young. He's like 21 or 22. He's pretty mature for his age, right? Like to do everything he's done, and you know, he's doing good. He's on a good path. But what I find interesting is he's living in that truck with like four other guys. There's like five guys living in that box truck. And the whole reason they moved into that box truck was to make videos and content and travel. And I know he's not traveling yet, but I'm just surprised he's not putting out any videos because it's like, dude, you've been living with 5 guys in a box truck for over a month. I mean, there should be a ton of content. You know, even just day in the life vlog stuff. Like there should be a ton of stuff to show. And so I'm surprised he isn't doing it. Yeah, he does have an OnlyFans, and so oops, he's making a lot of money with OnlyFans. I think that's part of it. But I really did think that he was going to do more YouTube, but I'm sure he will once he starts traveling. Anyway, that's my thought on Zach. No shade. He's a good guy. I like Zach, but I am surprised that he's not putting out videos. Uh, People want to know where I get water at. If I'm in Arizona, they have these dedicated water fills that are super easy. So that's what I do. If I'm not in Arizona, I just find it. Like in San Diego, I get water at the marinas. They have water fills like for the boats. Um, Otherwise, I got water last time at a gas station. If you go to like the Pilot or the Flying J, the gas stations for truckers, they usually have water fills by the diesel pumps. I think they do it for truckers to fill up their water tanks in their trucks. I don't know, but they usually have it at diesel pumps. However, fair bit of warning, it's usually not really drinkable water. Like it's safe, but it's usually pretty heavily like chemical tasting. Like I filled up my tank at Maverick in California and I couldn't drink it because it tasted like chlorine. It was a super strong chlorine taste. Um, versus the water that I get here in Arizona, it's all filtered and it's super clean, and so I can drink tank water. Um, it's cheap. It's 50 cents for 5 gallons. So it's cost me a few bucks to fill my freshwater tank with filtered water, which is a pretty good deal. I think I'm gonna crack the window so I can turn the fan on. Sorry guys, you'll have to deal with the fan noise, but I want to get some of this steam and humidity out of here. Okay, so we got that. We got the turkey tray. I'm gonna use a paper towel to like soak up the little turkey juice before I throw it in the trash. Yeah, it's ground turkey, because I don't want that to leak out of the trash bag by chance. Although I'm using a heavy duty Sprouts bag. So people wonder about what I do for trash bags. I use the grocery store bags. And so I thought it was funny. Somebody commented on the video I did 2 weeks ago because I went to grocery outlet and I didn't use reusable shopping bags, right? I used the plastic bags, the shopping bags. But the reason I use these plastic shopping bags is because after I transport groceries in them, I use them as trash bags. And so all these people that are like telling me I'm a bad person for not using reusable grocery store bags, every one of those people is buying rolls of plastic trash bags at the store and then taking them home and putting their trash into the plastic trash bag. So it's literally no different. It's no different. So um anyway, I just wanted to put that out there for people that like try to make me feel bad. Uh I guarantee y'all are buying plastic trash bags at the store. You're paying for them and then you're just throwing them away. So the joke is on you guys because I'm not buying rolls of trash bags. I'm going to add a little pepper and a little salt to the ground turkey. And then I'm going to add some kind of seasoning. We got a couple options here. We'll see what sounds good. So I get my spices, believe it or not, I get my spices from Home Goods. Uh, they have really cheap spices that are like different and kind of tasty, and I just enjoy it. Let's see what we got. Okay. All right. So we got Smoked paprika with garlic, chili, and lime. We got this spices. And then we also have herbs de Provence spice blend. But actually, I just used this the other day. So I think I'm gonna use the smoked paprika, chili, garlic, and chives. That sounds better to me for turkey. Arizona Online says plastic bags were banned. Hey, Jamie, happy to have you here. You mentioned you stumbled across my abandoned parking lot video. Heck yeah. Welcome to the channel. Uh, those videos I did about a month ago, I had like three of them that really took off. One of them did 1 million views. The other two are in the hundreds of thousands. So really happy that we brought in a bunch of new people, got some new faces, new friends to the Nomad Brad community. Happy to have you guys here. I enjoy doing the live streams. I feel like a lot of other van life YouTubers don't do live streams as much, and so I like doing it. I like it's easier for me too because I don't have to edit. There's no editing. There's no thumbnail. I just go live and then we just hang out together and see what happens. See what happens. And then once I start the new build out, I'll be doing lives while I'm building. So that'll be kind of fun. You guys can see me in process doing the work. You can ask questions while I'm running the drill and cutting the wood, doing all the stuff. It'll be a good time. It's going to be a lot of content coming. A lot of content coming. Okay. Let's see. Let that. Oh, I'm gonna turn the. I gotta turn the turkey up. I turned the temperature down uh, when the vegetables got all steamy, but now I gotta turn it back up. They're not. I was like, why is this turkey not cooking? Well, temperature's too low. Check the settings, Nomad Brad. Okay, we're gonna put some more spices on top. Uh, how you guys doing in the chat? I feel like I haven't been looking too close. Looking forward to the new build. Might have to steal some ideas. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Happy to have new folks in here. A winter video. Yeah, me too. You know, I would love to next winter. I'd love to go up into the snow, not like crazy off road, but I'd love to go up to maybe Sedona area next because next winter I'll be in Arizona again. That's where I spend winter time. But I'd love to adventure out, go up to Sedona, see the mountains in the snow, do a little snow hiking. I think that'd be super fun. And last I checked, there's still BLM land that's open in Sedona. So hopefully they don't change it between now and then. But I could even go over to New Mexico, find some mountains, find some snow. I think that'd be cool. So we'll definitely do some snow videos, uh, some winter videos, get cozy, pull out the coats, drink drink some hot chocolate in a big mug with two hands. That's how you know it's cozy time when you have the big mug with the two hands and you're like sipping on it. That's a thumbnail right there. Yeah, I'm gonna get a lift gate. That's another like um, requirement. Oh, Flagstaff. That's a good idea. Yeah, I might go to Flagstaff. Ty's asking about the new build. I'm taking this van in tomorrow to get inspected. There's people that want to buy it. So if they're happy with what the mechanic says, they're supposed to fly out and buy it. So it's possible I'll be starting a new build in a couple of weeks. It just depends on fate. It depends on what the cards have decided. It's all out of my hands. I've set my intentions, I've made plans. But at the end of the day, I remain unattached. That's the best way to navigate situations like this. Remain unattached. If you get your hopes up, if you get too set on a certain direction, it can almost seem like it's easier for things to go in the opposite direction when you're too tied to a specific outcome. So keep an open mind. I'm happy either way. I have a beautiful home on wheels and be happy to travel all summer in this home on wheels. It's ready for Burning Man. The air conditioner's dialed in, so I'm not worried about it. Where are you gonna live as you build? I'm gonna be living in the build. I'll be living in the vehicle as I build it. Every vehicle that like I said, this is the fourth vehicle I've converted. Every vehicle I've converted, I've lived in it during the build process. Every single one. This will be no different. This next box truck, um, that's why my priority is to do the electrical and the solar first thing. Because once I have electric, then I'm good. I can cook. I can, charge my camera, charge my laptop, run the Starlink. I can do all the stuff. So then I'll just be sleeping. I'll buy a mattress right away and I'll just flop it on the floor. And that's going to be my home. And it's going to be a huge box truck. I'm really excited about it. It'll be a lot of space. Where are we at? So the Instant Pot is done. The quinoa is finished. So it takes a few minutes for the pressure to release. The turkey's looking pretty good. So here's the turkey, ground turkey, and the peppers. And the quinoa's done. Yeah, I didn't get the Starlink Mini. If you read the fine print, the Starlink Mini is really not designed to be outdoors in harsh conditions. It tells you that on the website. And I'm going to permanently mount my Starlink to the roof. So the Mini is out of the question for me. Also, the Mini has reduced speeds available. So for me, it didn't make sense. And the space doesn't matter because I'm going to put it on the roof and, so who cares? It doesn't matter. But I think if you're in like a regular van and you want to just like pop the Mini up when you need it and then take it down, then I think, it can make sense to have the Mini. I set to cook the quinoa, I sent the Instant Pot for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. That's all it takes. How much reduction of solar power charging is there in the winter? That's a good question, Rick. I don't have an exact number for you, but I want to say about 50%. It's about 50% less. And here's the thing, you're battling two different when we're talking about how much solar you get in the winter during the summer, you're fighting on two different fronts. The first issue is that the days are not as long. So it might be in the dead of winter, the sun is down by 4 o'clock. I mean, it's still bright in the sky, but the sun is down far enough that you're not getting any significant solar power. Like when I was up at Bombay Beach this winter, by 3:30, I was not getting significant solar. So that's the first aspect is you have less hours to collect energy per day. The second factor is because the sun is lower in the sky, right? Like here's your solar panels. So the sun isn't up here, it's over here. So it's hitting your panels at an angle. So not only do you have less hours of sun exposure, you also have less intensity of sunlight. So there's two different things you're fighting against. But I would say overall, if you looked at how much energy you're going to bring in, on any given day, I would say you're looking at probably 50%. So it's a significant difference. But the thing is, for most people, the only reason they need a lot of sun in the summer is for air conditioning. Like when we're talking about box trucks, it's easy to put 2,000 watts on the roof. And so, like I've told you guys, even if my next rig, I want to do four 650-watt panels. So just say 50% is 1,200 watts. 1,200 watts is still even for 5 hours 4 hours a day, that's plenty of power to do what I need to do. All I'm doing is cooking, running the fridge and some lights and the TV and laptop. I don't use that much electricity, so I shouldn't have any problem getting by in the winter. And yeah, I could do some tilting solar panels. I don't know, I'm not really worried about it. We'll just see what happens. We'll play it by ear. Turkey's looking good. We're cooking all the water out of it. I think it's about ready. I got to figure what I'm going to do with this. I put the paprika on the turkey. We got the onions grilling. I got the quinoa, but I need to do some kind of like sauce or something. It's going to be boring by itself. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I'm going to try out this cream of chicken. And so the first thing I'll do is I'll remove the excess turkey that I'm not going to eat tonight. What do I do to keep ice and snow off the panels, Rick? I follow the good weather, sir. I don't live in places with ice and snow. That's what I do to keep the snow off. That's the benefit of living in a home on wheels. You can easily relocate. So yeah, I think it would be fun to go like, up in the snow during the winter for a little bit, but uh it would be a short trip. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be living for weeks in a snowy climate cuz yeah, you have to go up on the roof and de-ice and de-snow your panels like every day. And that does not sound enjoyable. So, yeah, you're not going to find me consistently in cold weather. No reason for it. That's why I live in a van. I relocate, baby. Someone mentioned they saw me in a Bob Wells cheap RV living video. I worked for Bob Wells um, for about 6 months, maybe 9 months during my second year as a nomad. And so I did his filming and video editing, and I appeared in two of his videos. There's a Instant Pot. It's actually an Instant Pot video. Bob was so impressed with like what I did with the Instant Pot, he wanted me to do a video with him. So there is a video of me and Bob Wells doing an Instant Pot review. And then there's also a video of me and Bob Wells reviewing a Renogy Lycan power station. This was back when power stations were first coming out. Like all that was available was the Jackery 500. That was like the newest power station. That was a big deal. And so um, the Renogy came out with one. It wasn't that great. They don't make it anymore, obviously, but that was the video. So if you guys are curious, you could always go back and see a young, less traveled, less gray hair Nomad Brad. Use a leaf blower to remove the snow. Yeah, you could do that, but then you got to travel with a leaf blower, right? Those are the things you got to think about. And then, are you going to store a leaf blower in your vehicle when you only use it a couple months a year? You know what I mean? That's a lot of real estate to give up for something you're only going to use, so infrequently. So yeah, you could use a leaf blower, but it doesn't really make sense to haul one around in your van all year just in case it snows. So living in a van, it changes things. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you operate. There's definitely some limitations, but of course, there's the good side as well. But it's a lot to think about, a lot to consider. It's not as easy. It's not as convenient as regular life. Not as convenient as being in a apartment or being in a house. You don't have as much room for stuff. You don't have unlimited water and electricity. It's different. Okay, so I got the turkey and the peppers cooked down, and now they make mini split leaf blower. I don't know, dude. I don't know about all that. Yeah, I mean, you can figure something out. There's a will, there's a way. You could do it. Okay. Okay, so now we got this cream of chicken. I'm gonna pour it over the top of this. Give you guys a little shot here. Oops, that's the wrong thing to do. Let's see. Okay, I guess it'll stay there. Okay, so here's the turkey and the peppers. We're gonna pour some cream of chicken. Try not to do the whole thing. Let me use the fork. Usually it chunks out in one huge thing. I don't want to do that. I want to save some of this for later. So we'll just kind of mix it up. Cream of chicken. I don't know what would you call this? When you have the ground turkey and the peppers, then you add the cream of chicken. Is this a goulash? It's not really a casserole. What is this? I don't even know what this is. See, I couldn't even do a cooking video because what would I even title it? What would I even title this meal? I have no idea what you even call it. All right, we'll add a little more. There we go. That looks pretty good. It's colorful with that pepper in there. Got some orange, some yellow, some red. It looks good. All right. Heck yeah, that looks tasty. We're gonna enjoy that tonight. Cream of chicken turkey casserole. There you go, casserole. That's what I was looking for. Does it count as a casserole if it's not baked? I was thinking a casserole had to be, like, baked in an oven. Maybe I could call it a stovetop casserole. I guess if I came up with enough ideas, I could put together a little van life cookbook. Like to have occasional beer. Uh, yeah, I don't know how that works. Um, a lot of nomads drink in their rigs. A lot of nomads smoke marijuana in their rigs. So I think it's okay. Keep in mind, like if you're parked and you're not planning on going anywhere, it's probably fine. I guess the only thing is if you're in a space that's a little bit like you're not sure you're going to be left alone, like I can guarantee with near absolute certainty, no one's going to come knocking on my door tonight and ask me to leave. So if I wanted a beer, I would be comfortable having one right here, no sweat. But, if you were in like California parked on a street and you're like unsure about where you're staying at, then it's something you might consider, right? You might not want to have a beer in case the cops come knocking because the cops, that's always the first question is, have you been drinking tonight? And they're always looking for any reason to give you a ticket or take you to jail. So I definitely wouldn't, I wouldn't want to get caught drinking. I wouldn't want to get caught drinking in my van. That's for sure. So now if you're out camping, like in the woods or something, no problem. If you're on BLM land, no problem. So I think it just depends where you're at. Just depends where you're at. But yeah, a lot of nomads do it. What's that? What was that last comment? How does that work? He won't tell us about shitting in showers and beer, but he's open to telling you about weed. I don't know what you're talking about. I have a toilet in here. I've shown the toilet on videos before. People think I'm trying to hide it. I'm not trying to hide it, but it's like, how exciting is it? Why do people want to see the toilet? Like I've done plenty of videos with it. I just don't understand. Like, do you want to see me taking a poop in a video? Is that what you want? Like, I don't get it. Everybody poops, but why do you want to see that in a video? I don't understand. And I tell everybody, I'm very clear that I shower only once a week. I shower once a week. That's it. Very clear about that. Also, you're on the wrong site if you're looking for Brad's poop. Yeah, there you go. I have to do an OnlyFans for that. Um, okay, there we go. There we go. There's really no secrets here. Also, so I have a toilet which I normally use for number two, but I have a pee bottle that I use for number one. As a guy with a built-in hose, I prefer the pee bottle. In fact, like when I'm out in public or something, if I'm close to my van, I would prefer to just come back to the van and use my pee bottle rather than use a public bathroom. It's super comfortable. I enjoy it. So, uh, I feel like humanity has become very soft with all the conveniences, that have been afforded us. All the everything's automated, Uber Eats, get everything delivered to you. Humans have become very overly comfortable, and I don't think it's a good thing. If you look at our ancestors, they were using outhouses. Before that, they were out crapping in the woods. It's like it's not a big deal. And I think a lot of people have become very soft. And that's one thing about being a nomad is that you're going to get a lesson real quick. It's going to toughen you up. It's going to make you a real man, make you a real boy, make you a real lady. You know what I mean? I remember I was watching this YouTube video of this girl. And she was showing the coffee can that she poops in, and she was like all about it. This is my little coffee can that I poop in. It was crazy. Um, yeah, how did my ancestors survive without DoorDash McDonald's? Yeah, it is like Wally. That's a good comment. If you watch the movie Wally, everyone's just fat, sitting in their little hover chair with their Slurpee, with the screen right in front of their face. I mean, that's where they're pushing humans, right? They're pushing us into this just thoughtless organism. It's pretty sad to see it happen. And so I think anything we can do to push against that, find some challenge, find some struggle, take a walk, don't take the elevator, take the stairs, all that kind of stuff. Keeps you on your toes. Okay. Well, I think we're looking pretty good for dinner. I'm about ready. Let me check on this. The quinoa is done. I'll let you guys see what that looks like. Yeah, one shower at a truck stop can cost you 10 or 12 bucks, or 15 bucks if you're in California. You can get a whole month of Planet Fitness for like 20 bucks. So here's the quinoa. Let me use the fork. We'll fluff it up a little bit. See what it looks like. See that? Looking pretty good, looking fluffy. So now I'm gonna make a little bowl. What in the world is quinoa? It's a grain. I don't, or maybe it's not a grain. I don't know. It's like rice. It's like rice, but it's not. I think it's from Africa. I think. I don't know. But it's like a healthier alternative to rice, allegedly. I don't, allegedly. How do you save energy when it's snowing for a week? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't live in the snow for a week. So I guess here's something to say. People that live in vans in the snow, they usually rely on propane. They cook with propane. Um, they have propane fridges. They don't rely on electricity, right? So I love free energy from the sun. And so I purposely choose to live places that are abundant in free energy from the sun. That's a choice I make. And I can do that because my home has wheels. So I follow the good weather, I follow the sun. I'm never without electricity. And even this winter, even when I was in Bombay Beach and I wasn't getting a lot of solar, I still made it. I was watching the solar levels. I mean, my batteries got low, but I didn't run out. So, it's still possible. Okay, so we got that is why we love your channel. Fascinated by pyramid, something that we're missing. Yeah. Yeah, you know what's interesting, if we get a little crazy here and get a little off topic, is modern society wants us to believe we're the most advanced civilization. However, there are things that were built thousands of years ago that we cannot build today. All that pyramid stuff, all the massive mega structures with like super precise stonework, half of that stuff we can't build today. Even some of the ancient like churches and cathedrals, I've watched some like Discovery Channel stuff on those, and some of the engineering on like the stonework and stuff, they've literally said we could not recreate this today if we wanted to. And society wants you to believe that all these megaliths and these beautiful cathedrals were built by humans, thousands of years ago with like hammers and chisels. And it's completely ludicrous. If you use logic and reasoning, it's absolutely ludicrous to think that we are the most advanced. I have no question in my mind. They were way more advanced. They had access to ancient knowledge that we do not have. Now, I'm not saying they had like iPhones and stuff, but I'm saying they understood things about the universe and about physics that we do not understand. And I think they leveraged that um, to build all those structures. RM, just want to show support for your genuine content. I appreciate you, RM. Thank you so much. Nomad Brad's in here keeping it real. Flipper says I've seen those videos. Yeah, the archaeological sites. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely something going on they don't want us to know about. And if you really dive down the rabbit hole, I think a lot of the ancient texts have been hidden from us, and they're in the Vatican, in the vault. And so I know at some level, there's a group of people that know our true history and they know how all this stuff was done, but they hide that information from the masses because by hiding that information, they're able to control us. So that's all I'm going to say. Getting a little out there, but it's fun to use logic and reasoning and just kind of explore the possibilities. And I think it's kind of cool um, to think about the fact that there were crazy ancient civilizations that had crazy abilities that we don't have. I think that's pretty fascinating, and I think humanity is much older than they lead us to believe. I don't think we're a few thousand years old. I think we're much older. I believe there's been like resets throughout throughout history, like ice ages and meteorites and stuff. I think have wiped out humanity, and we've had to reset. And so I think there's been many versions of humanity throughout the years, and I think we've been around a lot longer than what they want us to believe. But they hide it because if people knew what's possible and the history, the true history, they wouldn't be sitting around on iPhones. They wouldn't be content sitting around on iPhones watching TikTok, right? They would want to get back to that technology, and the odds are there's probably free energy technology. I mean, here's the thing. Think about this. You want to talk about free energy? The entire planet runs on free energy. The waves in the ocean, the breeze, the wind, the rain, the entire damn planet runs on free energy. The earth has no power plants. There's no native earth powered coal mines, right? Free energy exists. We just don't know how to access it. And I believe that in the past, it was accessible. And I think that has to do with the pyramids and a lot of the monoliths. So, yeah, it's wild. And I don't think we'll ever figure it out in my lifetime, but I like to just think about it and explore the options. And I would give anything to be able to go back in time 2,000 years and just see what was really happening. And I bet it wasn't just a bunch of bums wandering around in the desert in leather sandals. You know what I mean? I think there was probably some cool stuff going on 2,000 years ago. Okay, that's it. Rant complete. Dinner is served. Yeah, solar power, right? Solar power is a great example of free energy from the sun. Um, the difference is the way we collect it is not efficient, right? It's human the way humans collect it. But I'm sure there's other ways that it could be harnessed that it would be. And I don't think you even need solar power. I think there's electromagnetics and other ways you could harness energy that would be far superior to solar. But anyway, that's all I got to say on that. So here we go. Dinner is served. Let's take a look at it. We can talk about van life. Okay, so here we go. Um, we got the quinoa, we got the ground turkey, and we have the peppers all chopped up with that cream of chicken soup on top. And then over here we have the leftover cream of chicken, leftover turkey. That'll probably be lunch tomorrow. And then we got a bunch of leftover quinoa. I'll deal with that later. So yeah, it does look good, right? It's pretty tasty. And I'm excited about it. Turns out pretty good. It's not super fancy, it's not like Gordon Ramsay exciting, but it's gonna be tasty and it'll fill my belly, and I'm feeling good about it. Okay, we got some water. We got some of this. It's kind of dark. Maybe I should turn the lights on. Cover your eyes. It's gonna get bright. Uh, all right. Okay, so we're good there. Let me move my laptop here so I can eat. Let's see what's going on. It looks like the super chat blew up. I appreciate you guys. What's going on here? We got a fat super chat. I got to look at this really quick. I appreciate it, guys. Um, all the super chats helps me out. It's all going to go towards the box truck build, every penny of it. The box truck build is going to be amazing. And I'm going to be providing a ton of free content for you. I mean, all the content's free. You got to watch ads sometimes, but um, I'll be doing a ton of free content for the box truck build. And so anything you guys contribute, I appreciate it. Helps me out. RM, holy smokes. I appreciate you guys for the super chat. RM gave me a fat super chat. Just want to show support for your genuine content. Thank you so much, RM. I didn't realize you tipped that much. I really appreciate you. Um, I'm always trying to keep it genuine, and I uh, I appreciate you guys showing support. Let's see, super chat. I can scroll through it. Okay, RM gave me a fat super chat. Thank you so much, RM. I appreciate you. Daryl gave me a super chat. He says for Starlink, use a 12-volt DC adapter. I appreciate you, Daryl. He also says put the onion in the freezer. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Simple Box came through with a super chat. Mark came through with the super chat. He was talking about putting the solar panels on a hinge. I agree with you. I'll think about that. Uh, Otaku Van Life said good luck. Hope everything pans out. Adventures with Super Dave. The OG Super Dave's been around for a long time. He's also a channel subscriber or a channel member. He's a paid member every month. He contributes a little bit to old Nomad Brad. I appreciate you, Super Dave. We got Tekarak. Says can't wait for the next build. Let's go. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. Happy to have you guys here. Someone to hang out with. Uh, Audio. Audio says great stream, my dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Rick Turner. Seen one guy use a Tesla battery. Yeah. So here's the thing. I actually know. Do you take supplements? I take a lot of supplements. Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny too is they tell us we can't get back to the moon, like they lost the technology for that. Isn't that crazy? NASA, the official guys that went to the moon, they claim they can't figure out how to get back. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird they don't want to go back now that there's like HD cameras and it's hard to fake stuff? I think that's kind of interesting. All of a sudden, can't figure out how to get to the moon. Very strange. These are the things you got to think about. These are the things that keep me up at night. What was I going to say? Oh, Tesla battery. Yeah. So I know a guy. When I went to Burning Man last year, I went with this nomad who I'd never met before named Jason. And he has a box truck. It's probably a 16-foot box truck. And it's probably a 16-foot box truck. He has a Tesla battery in it. But here's the problem. The Tesla batteries, you can't fit enough solar panels on the roof to charge the Tesla battery pack. So you have to use Tesla charging stations. But the problem is because he only has the battery pack and not an actual Tesla car, it doesn't it can't communicate with Tesla charging stations. So, yeah, Jesus. Jesus has Tesla batteries. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know. His name's Jason, but he goes by Jesus anyway. Um, yeah, so that's the challenge with the test. It's so big. It's like 40,000 watt hours or maybe more, maybe 48,000 watt hours. And so when I was out there at Burning Man with him, he had just installed the battery pack and he was at like 15% capacity. The whole time he was there, he was never able to get it charged up. And so that's the problem with those. And then because you don't have the Tesla car software, you can't use Tesla chargers. So it's a challenge. But I mean, if you could get it charged up, it would last a long time, a long, long time. Like, you could probably go weeks on that battery pack without solar panels. But then the problem is once it's out, your solar panels can't recharge it. Yeah, I know NASA's like sending probes and stuff. I'm just saying I find it fishy. NASA went to the moon in when was it, the 50s? And then they couldn't figure it out. We had an iPhone, an iPad, all this technology, computers shrunk way down, all this stuff, couldn't get back to the moon. I just find it interesting. I mean, imagine if they did go back to the moon. Imagine how much money they could make off the documentary, the movie. They could do live streams. Like they could make so much money off of advertising and like promotional stuff. They could do really good with it. And NASA gets, I don't know how much every year. How much funding does NASA get every year? Billions of dollars? What are they doing with it? With all the billions of dollars of free money from the government, they can't figure out how to get back to the moon. I don't know about all that. But they can get a space station up. They got a space station, but they couldn't get to the moon. How could they launch a space station, but they couldn't get to the moon? Does that make sense? You got to use logic, guys. Doesn't make sense. Van Allen belt. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. 1969 is when they went. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying I believe it or don't believe it. I'm just saying it doesn't add up. And I really don't think I don't believe all that rover footage. Like I don't know about all that stuff. It's just so shitty. I mean, what's funny is the black and white footage from the moon landing is like better frame rate than all this HD Mars and moon footage from the modern drones, the modern rovers. It doesn't make sense. I'm not saying I'm anything. I'm not saying I'm a flat earther. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. You got to keep an open mind. You have to keep an open mind. The thing that really jams people up is they commit to a belief and then they just like hold on to it so tight and then there's no room for discussion. We're just having a discussion right now. Why are you so upset? I'm not political. I don't have a side. I just observe and I think. And I think it's fishy. They didn't go back to the moon. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the earth is flat. I'm not saying it's round. Funding Nomad Brad's Moonbox truck build. I appreciate you. You know what's interesting is some of the ancient civilizations actually believe that the earth is a globe and it's sitting on the back of a tortoise that is sitting on top of elephants. That's pretty wild. And you know what's funny is if you went back to that civilization and you were the guy in your neighborhood that didn't believe the earth was sitting on a tortoise on top of elephants, you probably would have got kicked out of the village. They'd be like, "You're stupid." We know the earth is sitting on a tortoise. You gotta be careful. Keep your mind flexible. Anyway, let's talk about van life. What are we talking about? Carl Sagan said to keep questioning. I believe it. Jason Smith coming in. The food's really good. So I'll give you guys an update on the food. What I really like about using the cream soups, like the tortoise earth. Yeah, exactly. Tortoise earth. What I really like about the cream soups is the creaminess. So it gives a nice creamy kind of flavor and texture to the food. So the quinoa has a nice texture. It's cooked, but it's a little bit. It's still is like a little bit rigid. So it has almost a little pop when you bite into it. The quinoa does. So it's got a good texture. It's not like mushy um, or really super soft. And then um, The ground turkey is basically flavorless, right? The ground turkey is just takes on the flavor of whatever it's cooked in. So then we got the peppers, which have a nice little pop to them. Mm. And then this the sauce is just so good. So, and the cool thing about this, like the way I cooked it, is I'll have leftovers. So a big thing for van life, yeah, ground turkey is bland, so that's why I added the cream sauce. Um, the great thing about doing this, like with van life, is you'll have leftovers. So this will be my lunch tomorrow. Um, so that way you're not always having to cook. And then I just reheat this in the instant pot. So what I'll do is I'll take the quinoa, the ground turkey, and the cream sauce. I'll put it in this bowl, and then I'll put it in the instant pot and pressure cook it for like 2 minutes. And then it heats everything up. But because it's using steam to heat it, um, it doesn't dry anything out, right? So like a microwave, when you heat, it dries everything out. It removes all the moisture. Same with an oven. An oven dries stuff out. It removes the moisture. But the instant pot heats with steam, so it keeps everything moist and soft, and it's a good time. I enjoy it. I like the instant pot, and they're very good quality. I mentioned in my Sunday's video, I've had the same instant pot since my very first van life. I've had it for 7 years, and you can see it right there. It's the 3-quart model. It's been through 4 different vans with me. For the first 2 years of van life, that was my primary means of cooking. I used it 3 times a day. I boiled water for coffee in the morning, then I would heat my lunch with it and then cook dinner. So I used it 3 times a day for 2 years, and now I use it every few days, and it's a workhorse. So it's definitely a very well built, very good quality. I'm impressed it's lasted this long. You can make a mug cake. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look it up. So how we doing on time? 112 minutes, hour and a half, a little more than that, almost 2 hours, hour and 40. We've been cruising. We have a good time tonight. Did some talking, talked about the plans, talked about hopefully selling this box truck. Um, Getting Starlink, going to be installing that soon, and get the truck inspected tomorrow, and then I'll be in Arizona for a couple weeks. I like Arizona a lot. Um, yes, I do put water in the instant pot. So when I'm reheating, I put like an inch of water in the bottom with the trivet, and then the bowl sits on the trivet, and then that's how you reheat with it. I like Arizona a lot. Um, in all my nomad travels, what I like about Arizona is, first of all, it's very RV and van life friendly in general. The laws are very laid back. A large portion of Arizona's winter economy comes from people living in vehicles. A lot of Canadians come down to Arizona in the winter. So because it's such a large revenue generator for Arizona, they allow it. So first of all, very van life friendly. You can park almost anywhere. In the winter, it's probably the best weather. Even compared to Florida, the problem with Florida is it's still humid and they have all kinds of bugs and stuff. Arizona has almost no bugs. There's no humidity, so it's very very nice in the winter. It does cool down a little bit, but still it's very nice. Um, and then I like the desert landscape, all the cactuses and the bushes that flower and stuff. It's pretty nice. And so Arizona's grown on me a lot. Now, I will say, obviously, in the summer, there's 1,000 better places to be. So, um, the Pacific Northwest is my favorite place in the summer. I just haven't been back there in a couple years, but um, I am planning to ultimately get a piece of land somewhere, and I'll probably get it in Arizona. I want to get a piece of land here. Let's see. DeRumble in the chat. Happy to see you here, DeRumble. DeRumble is asking, how much does your panel weigh? Any issues with your VHB tape? So the weight of a solar panel, it's going to depend on Um, Obviously, what size of panel it is. I have 320-watt panels, and they probably weigh about 30 pounds a piece, roughly. Um, no issues with the VHB tape. It's been fine. It's been on the roof for over 2 years. Um, I check it all the time. Whenever I'm on the roof, I always just kind of look at it, give it a little jiggle. It's rock solid. It's not. It's not loose at all. By the way, talking about space, VHB tape was designed by NASA. No, I'm sorry, designed by 3M for NASA to use on satellites where they needed a very high bond application that was extremely lightweight and resistant to temperature changes. So VHB tape is very strong stuff. They use it on satellites. It ain't going nowhere. To the moon. Alt code guy, you're cracking me up, dude. You're cracking me up. I feel like we're on the same page. I feel like we would hang out and have a good time. Polymath channel says Nomad Brad base. Yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards getting a home base in Arizona. I'd like to be somewhere maybe around Tucson. I think Tucson's beautiful. Yeah, obviously the VHB tape is going to depend what you're sticking it to. I've done VHB tape to factory paint on a Ford Transit for her YouTube name is Lazy Ass Asian, so I'm just gonna call it. That's what her name is. That's what she chose to call herself. So I did a VHB tape install on Lazy Ass Asian's roof of her Transit, and I did two 200-watt Renogy panels, and they held awesome, and her panels were fine. And then on my roof, it's stuck to bare aluminum. And I just did Scott's box truck a couple weeks ago in the desert, and I did his VHB on bare aluminum. It's no problem. It adheres very good. Obviously, if you have a crappy paint job and it's like flaking off, you don't want to put VHB tape on that. Adventure with Super Dave. Have a good night, brother. I appreciate you coming out. Thank you for the super chat. Happy to have you here as always, Super Dave. And looking forward to seeing you next time, brother. You have a good night. So, yeah, the VHB tape is good stuff. Oops, where are we at? Oh yeah, I was talking about Arizona. Yeah, yeah. So my goal is to get a piece of land out by Tucson. I'd like to buy a maybe like 5 acres plus with a small house on it, and then I want to rent the house out to pay down the mortgage, and then I want to have like a barn or something in the back area, and then I can park my van there when I'm coming in for the winter, and also I want to do my solar installs there. So that way I can have people come to me and I can do solar installs on my property, have all the parts and pieces, tools I need, and just do installs in the winter and then travel in the summertime. So that's my future plans, maybe in like 3 to 5 years. So we have 264 people in the live chat, and we have 237 thumbs up. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and watching. Will you have a weather station in the new rig? Yeah, I will. The one I have, it's just a cheap one I bought on Amazon. It was like, $30 or something. Um, so I definitely want to get a better quality one. Yeah, Will Ty says be careful it comes to your house. Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I want to have a permanent resident that lives there so that the house isn't empty in the summer. Because that's the problem. If I'm a van life YouTuber and everybody can watch on YouTube and see that I'm in Oregon and I got a property in Arizona full of tools, then it's open season for thieves. But I would have somebody live there that I trust that's, cool with the situation. Maybe even some nomads. I don't know, some good nomad friends. But I would have someone always there on property, and of course, I'd have tons of cameras, probably have a Starlink set up. Everything's gonna be solar power, so we'll have a lot of ways to monitor the property, put up some motion sensors, keep the cops on speed dial, keep the tweakers away. Yeah, warehouse. No, I wanna be out in nature. I don't wanna be in the city. Yeah, I wanna be out in nature. I wanna wake up in the morning and look at a mountain, and that's what I like about Tucson. Um, Also Apache Junction. Okay, Diana, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you. I know it's late for you. Good night. Um, I don't know if I replied to your Telegram, but I know you sent me a message that your solar panel deal fell through. So I hope you're able to find some more. And feel free to reach out to me when you get new panels or when you have panels you're interested in. And I can do the math for you and just make sure it's all compatible. So just let me know when you find new panels you want, and I'll take care of you. Pima County, no building codes. I'm interested. So here we got a message from Mont Easy. I'm in Florida. Where can I buy a build like yourself already set up? You can buy this one. It's for sale. $49,000. You can buy it tomorrow. You're not going to find one like mine because it's custom. It's a one off. I built it for myself. And if you look around at box trucks for sale, I mean, there's some out there, but you're not going to find one like this. The the biggest the biggest thing with this rig is that I did a lot of attention to detail, and I really paid attention to aesthetics, and I wanted everything to be clean and white and bright and to look really nice and kind of like modern and luxury. And you're not going to find that in another build. I know, I've looked around. I mean, I'm not saying there's not good builders out there. I'm just saying you're not going to find one like this. And it's super open. Like most people, they don't have their builds open. They have cabinets everywhere. I mean, I have cabinets still, but I've managed to keep it open, you know? So it still feels large in here. I have the bed down, but when the bed is pushed forward, you walk all the way down. You got 12 feet of floor space. So, um, yeah, it's traveling around the world. Nah, I don't think so. Yeah, there's no bathroom in here. I mean, that's just the thing. Um, Everyone's different. I never had a bathroom. I've seen plenty of vehicles. I saw the other day, I saw a $90,000 transit conversion with no shower. So everyone's different, but a lot of people don't have showers. And people that have not lived in vehicles want showers. But I'm telling you, once you get in the vehicle and you realize the effort that is required to be constantly filling and emptying your water tanks to take showers all the time and how small the shower is. Like when we're talking about sprinters, ProMasters, transits, the shower is so small, you can't raise your arms over your head. You can't put your arms out because you're going to bump the walls. You're like this doing a shower. It's not a good experience. And people don't think about that because they assume it's going to be the same experience as living in a house with a house shower, but it's not. It's completely different. And in a regular van, it's not a good experience. And if you watch a lot of these sprinter builds and $200,000 sprinters, they have toilets in the showers. So not only is it tight, you can't lift your legs to wash it. You can't raise a leg to wash it. You're straddling a toilet. The shower head is coming at your chest. It's a nightmare. But these are things people don't think about because they've never lived in a van. They don't know. And then you buy it because you got stars in your eyes and you want to do all this stuff and you're thinking about the the future and living out, looking at the stars and being free and traveling. And then reality sets in, and you realize the shower sucks. And then you end up using the shower as a closet. That's how it goes. I'm telling you, that's how it goes. Now in this rig, yes, there's tons of space. There could be a shower here. Um, Somebody could add a shower if they wanted a shower in this. There's room to add a shower. It's not a big deal. It's just not for me. I saw a school bus with a bathtub in it the other day. Flipper's gonna get a Ford E-Transit. DIY Fix says I live in a box truck and can concur. I saw one build that had a Murphy shower. Yeah, here's the thing though, is like with a shower, all the Murphy showers and the fold-up showers, you have to leave the showers open to dry. If you try to do some Murphy shower and put it away wet, it's gonna get mold and mildew fast. And then your whole van is gonna reek like mildew. It's not practical. It looks good on a YouTube video when they're doing the tour and like, I have this shower and it folds open, then it folds closed. The reality is, after you use the shower, you have to let it sit open for hours until everything evaporates. Or what are you gonna do? Wipe it down with towels and then you got a bunch of wet towels? You can't, it's not practical. Yeah, just buy a house, live in an apartment. Yeah, if you're gonna do a shower, it's gotta be rigid. It has to be its own space. I have a pretty crazy idea for my shower that I'll share with you guys when I do the build out. It's gonna be awesome. Would you ever get a truck and convert a trailer? No, I will not. Here's the problem. I'm putting Gee Whiz in timeout. I don't know what their problem is. Bye, Felicia. Um, Here's the reason I don't want to do a truck and trailer is because the truck itself is going to be like 20 feet long, and then the trailer is going to be another 15 feet. So you're going to be minimum 35 feet driving around. So you're way bigger than a box truck. You're going to be way more limited on parking, and you can't ever detach from your trailer because you're going to have anxiety about leaving your trailer behind because somebody could steal it, break into it, mess with it. So basically, you're going to be constantly connected to a trailer all the time, and then you're driving around with 35 feet, and it's not. I don't think it's ideal. And like backing up with the trailer is really tough, especially if you're on like in the desert or on some forest roads. Forget about it. So I won't do a truck and trailer unless you're going to stay in campgrounds or RV parks. I don't think it's a good idea. Do not believe it's a good idea. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. We're just over 2 hours, 128 minutes and 48 seconds. We nailed it. 2 hour runtime. I appreciate everybody for sticking around. All the super chats. We went big tonight. Um, all kinds of tips. I appreciate everyone that participated, everyone that liked and commented and asked questions and listened to my ramblings about Earth on top of a tortoise on top of elephants. Look it up. That's a real belief from back in the day. And I'll be live next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and I'll have a published video going out this Sunday. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for coming around. And that's it for me. This is Nomad Brad signing out. Peace.